everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you for joining me today for pattern release day. I'm so excited. It's been a long time. It's been a hot minute since I did a pattern release video. My work and my extracurricular stuff and my volunteer stuff have been taking up a lot of my time, and I just haven't had the chance to do sort of a pattern beginning to end. I have a bunch of like half designed patterns. I have a bunch of ideas, but this is my first pattern that I've done in a while. So I'm happy to have you join me. I want to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome back all my friends who've been hanging out with me. I've been told that many of you actually look forward to my temperature patterns, and that's really exciting for me. So I hope that you like this one. And I'm hoping to have another one by the early October, mid-October. That's the plan, but I'll keep you posted. I have one in the works, but I just don't love it. So I either need to tweak that or start a different one. I have a couple ideas in my head. But this one is my temperature library for 2024. And this does include the leap day, February 29th, so 29 days in February. So what this video is going to be is I'm going to first talk about, for those of you who've never done a temperature cross stitch pattern before, I'm going to talk about what that is, and how you can participate either with my patterns or other people's patterns. Then I'm going to go through this pattern and just kind of talk about what's in the actual pattern, and then I'm going to talk about what you get with the pattern that you get from me, because there's a lot of paper here, which seems like a lot of paper, but the pattern itself isn't actually that big, so I'll explain that also. A temperature pattern is essentially a cross stitch pattern or other media, because you can do a temperature artwork in any media. But basically you assign a range of temperatures to a color. And you have a pattern that represents the month or the year, and you check the high, low, or average temperature depending on what you're interested in, and you take that the color that represents that temperature and fill in your pattern. Now, I give you a kind of temperate range temperature table along with all my patterns, but if you're interested in coming up with your own, or if you live in an extra hot area or an extra cold area and you just need more options, I'll put a link up to my how to make your own temperature table video that I made a couple years ago. It still holds true as far as I know. So you can check that out if you'd like. And these are really fun. They're, it's just a little bit of a stitch every day. There are lots of people who do temperature patterns. Mine tend to have like extra stuff in them, like this one. And I have a bunch of others that you can also find on my Etsy shop. I have a drink shelf. I have Space Invaders. I have birds. And I have a bunch of bookshelves. So let's talk about these bookshelves. And if you have any questions, you can post them down below, or you can contact me on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me at Dr_Christy, and that's where I will, that's the kind of the easiest way to get a hold of me, is to message me on Instagram. Also, if you are stitching one of my patterns, I would love to see your progress. You can also tag me on Instagram, and I will share it with, my followers, because I love seeing what you do with my patterns. So let's take a look at what the pattern is. A bookshelf pattern is obviously a bookshelf, and it has 12 shelves. Each one represents a month, and January is at the top, and December is at the bottom. And as I said, this one includes 29 days in February, but if you are more interested in one of my other patterns, I do give tips on how to add that extra day into February for all of them. It's in all of my patterns. So, and if you ever have a question, feel free to reach out, because I made it so that it's actually easy to convert it from a temperature, from a non-leap year to a leap year. And this one is pretty easy to convert from a leap year to a non-leap year if you prefer kind of this layout. Let me get a little closer to you here. And you can see that this is in color on the front page of the pattern, but that's not how it's charted. It's charted like this. It's charted with the books in black and gray, two grays, mostly black, and DMC 310 and DMC 02, I believe. But I throw in 04 a couple times if like two of the same color book will be touching, to kind of prevent confusion, basically. So that's how it's going to look. And the colors that you get in the pattern are only for the bookshelf and the knickknacks. They are not for the color table, because so many people that stitch my temperature patterns have their own colors and table that they're using, so they can kind of compare, you know, throughout the years. They can kind of look and compare their colors throughout the years. And so I don't want to confuse anybody. So the colors that are in the pattern are only the colors in the pattern, and some of them correspond to temperatures in the in the temperature table, but not all of them do. And not all of the colors in the temperature table are in here, if that makes sense. So I have some knickknacks. You know, my bookshelves in my house are higgledy-piggledy. Ooh, it's all are higgledy-piggledy. And so that's how I made them here. And I have knickknacks. So we have an old-timey phone. This is Neptune. And I chose Neptune because I wanted to use a planet, and I put it in February to represent Pisces. I am not a Pisces. My husband's not a Pisces, but I really like Neptune. So I put it in February along with a little heart. In March, here we, oh, I just gave myself a paper cut. Ooh, not a deep one. We're okay. We're okay. We don't have to cut it off. It's fine. I have a little pot of clover, green clover, and a little turtle. That's my March. In April, I have a little New York City skyline. And sometimes sometimes I have a reason for where I put the knickknack, and sometimes I just really like the knickknack. I'm bleeding from my little paper cut. Ridiculous. Sometimes I just really like the knickknack and I kind of put it somewhere, but sometimes they make sense. In May, I have a whale on kind of like a pole, right? I was going to do a fish, but then I decided I wanted a whale instead. And he has a little spout. And then I have a couple of threads, and those threads are also the ones that are on my one of my knickknack expansion packs, I think in number 1. I have a ship's wheel, half of a ship's wheel. And then this is in July, I have a Spartan helmet. And the reason I have a Spartan helmet is because I'm currently teaching ancient Greece and Rome. We were just talking about the Battle of Thermopylae. And the Battle of Thermopylae was between, like 300, the movie 300. That one may have taken place in July, although we don't actually know. But it may have taken place in July, maybe September, maybe October. I put it in July. In August, we have a little flamingo and some sunglasses. In September, there's a flamingo. In September, we have a little cassette player, because you know, I grew up in the 80s, like a kid in the 80s. And we also have a little apple for school starting. For October, we have a little ghost and a pumpkin. And this pumpkin is, I think, also in my first expansion pack, and these sunglasses are in my second expansion pack. And then in November, I have 2 little mushrooms and a snail. These are also in my second expansion pack. And then in December, I have a sleigh, Santa's sleigh. But I also have charted, I don't know if you can see, a dreidel and a snowflake for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas. So I just want to make it easy to kind of personalize on your own. And I do, and I have mentioned knickknack expansion packs a couple times. These, I love when people personalize their bookshelves. I have 2 knickknack expansion packs, which are, I think it's like 150 different little motifs that you can kind of interchange. And some actually fit on top, to decorate the top of a bookshelf. But a lot of people just make up their own based on what they're doing in their lives. And I love seeing that. So this is a very versatile pattern with lots of neat things. And I hope that you like it. So let's just talk about what you get. So first of all, you get this printed version, a version meant for printing. And you get the front page. You get information and directions. And you get 2 different pattern styles. You get the symbols on color and the black and white symbols. And these are 2 pages each. So they go like that. And then it comes with a color chart. That is the color chart for the pattern, not for the temperature table. And it says all this in the listings. You don't have to remember this. In the second file, you get a rendering and a one-page symbol, black and white symbols pattern, along with the colors. And I offer this for those of you who use a PDF on like a tablet or something and just make it bigger and like color it in. So that's why I do this, to make it easier for you to do that. And my program just started allowing me to do this. So I had a complaint a couple years ago from someone who bought my pattern who asked if I could do this. And at that point I couldn't. And she was very, very upset with me. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but I can do it now. And so now I'm doing it. I want to make it as easy as possible. Then you get a black and white Pattern Keeper compatible version. Again, all of this is listed in the listing, and you'll also see what the file names are called. So this one is called PK. It's like Temperature Library for PK or something like that. And this is Pattern Keeper compatible for those of you who use Pattern Keeper. And it's, you know, tons of pages. So I don't expect people to print this out, but it's larger, so you can, if that helps you, to have such a much larger print. And then finally, which I did not print out, is a temperature table that gives you the DMC colors and temperatures in Fahrenheit and Celsius. I can't believe I forgot the word Celsius. Fahrenheit and Celsius. And it goes from like 28 degrees Fahrenheit to 97 degrees Fahrenheit. And it goes from -2 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius, maybe, something like that. You are more than welcome to adjust the temperature table to fit your location. I made a video on how you can make your own temperature table. It's a couple years old, but the information should still be good. So that's it. That's my temperature library 4. I hope that you are excited about the coming year and the coming temperatures. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. And like I said, I'm hoping to have another non-bookcase temperature pattern out in the next month or so. Depending on my work schedule, it may get pushed to November. I'm not sure. I have a lot of traveling that I'm doing in the next month, so I may need to get pushed back. But definitely in time for the new year, so folks can stitch that if they want to. But I hope that if you're excited about the temperature library, that you go out and get it, and you can find it in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below. Yeah, and tag me if you stitch it. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. And if you're interested, you can find the pattern in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below. And with that, I'll see you in my next video. Please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.